What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Awesome Nerd Show. I'm back with more McFarlane DC Multiverse toys, and today we have the Suicide Squad wave with the Build-A-Figure of King Shark. So this set took us a while to get, but we finally got it all, so we can now build that Build-A-Figure, which looks pretty cool. And from pictures I've seen, he's pretty tall and everything, so that'll be awesome. But in this wave, we have a 4-figure wave set. So we start off with Polka-Dot Man and Bloodsport, following up with Peacemaker and Harley Quinn. So we got 4 figures here, kind of like your 4 main characters, so they all look pretty awesome. And we do also have the exclusive versions as well, so that'll be another video coming up where we have like about 4 figures and they're all in different looks and stuff, so that'll be cool to look at too. But I want to start off with the main wave here to get the main Build-A-Figure, and I want to see how big he is compared to all the other figures, so I'm excited to check this wave out and build that King Shark. I think that'll be the coolest thing. So let me go ahead and get these figures out of the box and we'll take a look at each of them. So let's start off with Polka-Dot Man, whose real name is Abner Krill, played by David Dastmalchian, so we can see his face there. I think it looks pretty good, you know, not accurate, but as good as it could be. And so we have Polka-Dot Man here in his suit, so we have his all grayish white suit with the polka dots all over in the red, blue, and yellow, so you can see all those colors. He's got the little helmet on with the colors as well, and then like I said, the whole bodysuit from head to toe, where he's got the brown boots on down there, brown belt around his waist with silver on it, and then he has the gauntlets on his wrist that he can open up to expel his polka dots, because he has the ability to generate multicolored spot projectiles from his body through an experiment that his mom did on him as a kid. And so as we learned in the movie, he has to do it multiple times a day or they'll start like forming dots all over his skin, and pretty gross. But it's awesome that they did that, and how he has like these powers or whatever that he shoots out the dots, where like in like the old comics he would just take dots off his outfit and each dot would do something different, like cause an explosion or something. So I think they made it much cooler in the movie. But I like how we have like the open gauntlet there, so he can be like shooting out the dots and then just a closed up version. So for the movements, the head can twist all the way around there, kind of stiff. He can look down just about that far and up about that far with like the collar around his neck and stuff. Not a whole lot of range, but not too bad. Shoulders come up about 90 degrees there, rotate all the way around, and he does have a little bit of movement. He doesn't have the butterfly joint, but there's just looseness around his arm, so it does have like that butterfly movement. But then we have the bicep twist to twist all the way around, a double elbow joint that can bend all the way up on itself there, so pretty good. Wrist can twist around on the ball joint and then flex up and down as well. He has a bit of an ab crunch in the midsection, so crunch back and forth, and can twist around. The hips can come up about 90 degrees there, out to the side. A double knee joint that can bend up that far in the back. He can kick his own butt. And then the foot can rock back and forth just a little bit. With the boot design, they didn't do a very good job with the movements, so it just rocks back and forth a little bit, maybe a little, yeah, twist there side to side. And then it does have the toe joint on the end. Both these, they're so stiff. There's that one, so you got the toe joints just thrown in there as well. And as usual, they come with a base, so I've had to put them all on the base just to help them all stand. Figure comes with some accessories, so we get a pair of goggles. So we have the goggles that he wears in the movie, so with these you can just slide them on his head, and you can have him sitting up top like he has sometimes, or you can actually slide him down on his face, so like when he goes into fight. I think it looks a little bit weird. I think it looks a lot better when they're up on his forehead, but they are toy goggles, so they don't kind of sit perfectly on his head, but that looks a little bit better. We get an additional gauntlet, so if you want to have another closed up gauntlet on his right hand here instead of the open one, you have that option. But since we have the open one, we can do his polka dot effect, so we have the polka dots shooting out of his body. So this polka dots only has red, blue, and yellow, so we're missing out the green. But we have this, that's just a little clip piece that you can clip around on his gauntlet here, so you can just slide it up or clip it up there on his gauntlet, so it can be shooting out the polka dots now. So that's pretty cool that he comes with that, so you can have actual polka dots shooting out of his open gauntlet. But I think that's pretty cool. I like that effect for him. And finally, of course, we have his card, so there's a picture of him from the movie, so not too far out. And then on the back we have he's of course from Suicide Squad, and it says, "Dourly desperate Polka-Dot Man wears his rainbow pustulated dermis with all the shame of an acne-ridden teen going stag to prom. But when he sprays his colorful dots, his sparkling spots can turn even the smoothest criminal into Swiss cheese." So there's a lot of like alliteration and stuff going on there that took me multiple times to say, but pretty fun. And I think, like I said, I think they did it pretty accurate for the movie. And next up we have Bloodsport, also known as Robert Dubois, played by Idris Elba, which of course with this we don't get to see his head or anything. He does have the helmet on, but we do have that exclusive version that I mentioned we'll be doing in a later video that does have the unmasked head, so we'll take a look at it more then. But this one is just his all armored up one. But Robert Dubois is a trained mercenary and assassin, a master marksman and combat expert, and he wears a specially designed tactical suit with a collapsible helmet and collapsible weapons, such as we saw in the movie where he would just pull pieces off of his suit and it'd be like a gun, then he'd take like another attachment piece, pop it on, and turn to a shotgun, or another piece and turn to the big gun and stuff. So just all sorts of accessories going on in his suit. Of course, with this one, we don't get to see as much. We have some things like pieces there on the back, and I know like he pulled little guns off his chest and stuff, but obviously it's just kind of there. So of course the card has a picture of how he looked, so we will see that and just see how different it looks. So I think this one looks a little bit weird because he looks more like a Deathstroke or something with the dark blue and orange, where in the movie it was more like black and gold. So I don't like the colors they chose, but I think overall, you know, just kind of gets across that this is Bloodsport. So he does have the helmet on, again, the full face covering that is collapsible, and this has like a Xenomorph style helmet. So it's the smooth head with the blue, and then the mouthpiece there like a Xenomorph's mouth there in the orange. And then we have the all like tactical suit, so he has some armor paddings there with the orange and stuff. Like I said, in the movie he has pieces that come off, but he's just all blue and orange this time. I think it looks pretty decent, but like I said, doesn't match the movie. But I think overall it does look pretty good, but there's not a whole lot to it, just a whole bodysuit of orange and blue. But he does have some black boots on, so there's a little bit of difference. So for movements, the head can twist all the way around. He can look down that far and up that far, so better than Polka-Dot Man at least. Shoulders come up 90 degrees and can rotate around. We get the bicep twist that can twist all the way around. Double elbow joint that again, it's close to bending up on itself, but not as much just because of the like gauntlet piece. Wrist twist all the way around and flex on the ball. Again, there's like an ab crunch up in there, so you can crunch just a little back and forth and twist around at the waist. Hips come up 90 degrees out to the side, can do the splits. A little bit of a thigh twist on this one. Double knee joint that can bend up that far in the back. Boots in the waist so the foot just rocks back and forth a little bit. Can twist side to side a little there, and has the toe joint on the end. And again, I do have it on the base already. So Bloodsport, besides the use of gun, his suit also provides him the use of a garrote wire, meteor, hammer mace, flamethrower, slingshot, and some swords. And that's what this figure comes with, is the sword version. So we have like this, you know, what his suit looks like. It's just these gold pieces that then like will extend out a sword and stuff. So we get two of these swords, so almost like katana blades, that we can put into his hands, because unfortunately with them and like the way DC's doing stuff, they don't include guns, so we don't get any guns, even though he does come with trigger fingers, so we can put guns in if we want. But for now, let's pop these swords in. So there I put the swords in his hand, so I think they're okay. You know, they're not the best, they're just really thin swords, so it's not really much to them or anything, but that's just what we get included. But with his main weapon being guns, we do also have some guns that my brother pulled that we can try and put into his hand. So we have two pistols here, and then an actual like rifle gun. So let's try putting these in his hand. So there's the pistols in his hands, which they may be a little bit too small, but I assume they're for like 6-inch figures, so they are going to be a little bit too small overall, but they do fit perfectly right into his hand and everything, even with the trigger fingers and all that, so it doesn't work out too bad. And I don't think they look horrible, they just look a little bit small, but if they're coming from a suit and collapsible, I guess they could be a little bit smaller guns. But the two pistols look good there. And there's the rifle in his hands, which again doesn't look too bad. Again, maybe a little bit too small, but overall not too bad at all. So I think they actually look pretty good. So like I said, it stinks that DC isn't allowing guns, but I think you can take some guns from other things that just look pretty similar and throw them in there with them. So that does look pretty awesome there. And for his card, so there's a picture. So there's what his suit looks like. So you can see it's mostly all black, but has the gold. And again, has the design. There's nowhere orange or anything to it, but it has like the pieces there where he pulls like the little handguns out and stuff off his chest. So it just has all these things hidden around in his suit that he can pull off. And then of course we have the face of Idris Elba. And on the back it says Bloodsport is a world-class marksman specializing in brutality. His hands and anything he wields with them are deadly weapons. Trained by his mercenary father from the moment he was born, this hardened criminal has but one soft spot, which of course Amanda Waller uses to persuade, i.e. blackmail him into joining the squad, which we see of course his daughter and stuff. So overall, like I said, suit's not as accurate and stuff as I would like it to be, and it doesn't come with guns, so it's not really the best figure ever, but throwing in the guns does help it out a lot. And next up we have Peacemaker, real name Christopher Smith, played by of course John Cena. And Peacemaker is a self-righteous vigilante who believes in achieving peace at any cost. So of course we see Peacemaker here in this classic look. Of course, if you've seen John Cena lately, he's like always seems to be in this outfit, so it kind of fits that we have him here. And of course they do have that Peacemaker show coming out on HBO, so hopefully that'll be good as well. But we have in his Peacemaker outfit, so he has the chrome helmet on, which is kind of dorky and stuff, and it's supposed to have a dove on it, I believe. But then we have his red shirt on with some blue details on and stuff. The dove on his chest, of course the dove is signed for peace, so that's why he has it. Going into the tan pants with the blue belt, blue stripes down it, blue gloves, and black boots on his feet. So overall, with a lot of the Suicide Squad, I don't think their outfits are the best, but I think as good as you probably could get. But for movements, his head can twist all the way around. He can look down that far and up that far, so he's pretty loose joints in his neck, so probably the best overall. Shoulders come up 90 degrees, rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist at the bottom of the sleeve, double elbow joint that can bend all the way up on itself, wrist twist around and and flex on the ball. Has like the little ab crunch, but his doesn't crunch nearly as much, but he can twist around at the waist. Hips come up 90 degrees out to the side that far, a little bit of thigh twist in there, double knee joint that can bend up that far. His upper knee joint's a little bit stiff, but it can go at least that far. And the foot flexes back and forth, twists side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. And I forgot to point out his face. I think the likeness is pretty good. Like as soon as I see it, I'm like, oh, that's definitely John Cena. But of course, we do have that unmasked exclusive version as well that we will look at in a different video. But overall, I think he looks pretty good. You know, doesn't really have too many issues or anything, but I think looks pretty accurate to how he does in the movie. But Peacemaker has peak human conditioning, and he's also a master marksman and combat expert. With his outfit, he of course has the helmet, he has a Desert Eagle gun, a pair of tomahawks, and of course a sword, which we get with this since they didn't include the guns or anything. So we get his sword, and you can see that dove design once again there on the hilt. So very cool looking and nice sword. So we can go ahead and slide this into his hand. So there I have the sword in Peacemaker's hand, so that looks pretty cool. But again, as I mentioned, he does use guns, especially the Desert Eagle. Well, we have these two guns that we can put into his hands. I think he has one, but we have two here. Again, probably going to be small, but we can try them out. So there's the guns in his hand there. This one's a little bit too loose. I don't know if stretching out because of the sword and stuff, but that gun's a little bit too loose in his hands. But overall, I think that looks pretty cool. Again, the guns look maybe a little bit too small, but overall not too bad at all. So there's some guns we threw in there for Peacemaker, and that is pretty cool. And finally, we have his card. So there's, of course, the picture of John Cena in the suit. And around on the back says a huge hulking specimen with muscles on his muscles. Peacemaker is a world-class marksman, just like his fellow Suicide Squad member, Bloodsport, but if you ask him, better. He's more than willing to fight, kill, and even start a war, but of course, it's all in the name of keeping the peace. But overall, I think a Peacemaker is pretty awesome, and I think a pretty good looking figure. The accuracy with John Cena and the suit design stuff overall makes this probably the best figure out of the set. And that leads us to our final character of the wave of Harley Quinn. So, of course, Dr. Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie. So there we got her face. Again, don't think the accuracy is there as much, but it's not horribly off. I think it's just mostly the amount of makeup on her. But Harley, of course, is a former psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum and the ex-girlfriend of the Joker. But she's in the Suicide Squad as a member of the movie, of course, in the first wave, and she's like the only surviving member. And then we have her here as she gets picked up in Corto Maltese with like the new leader guy and gets given this dress and stuff. So we have her in the all red dress, but she has her signature long blonde hair with the red and black in it, tattoos all over her body, of course, that we saw from the first Suicide Squad movie, so they give her all the tattoos, Joker related stuff. But she's in the dress, into the black combat boots, and again, more tattoos there on her legs and everything. So I don't think it's the most accurate. I wish we had her from like how she first appeared in the movie with the all suit of the all black and red, but they gave her the red dress version, unfortunately. So for moments, the head can twist side to side there, probably twist all the way around. She can down that far and up that far, so definitely the best movements overall. Shoulders up 90 degrees, rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist, a double elbow joint that once again can bend all the way up on itself. Wrist can twist around and flex back and forth on the ball. Nowhere ab crunch or anything for her. She doesn't really move at all, maybe under the dress a little bit at the waist, not really even much twisting. And it's going to be hard for the legs, but the legs can come up a little bit there again with the dress in the way, out to the side a little bit. We got the double knee joint that can bend up at least that far in the back. Again, all the dress is in the way. And then the foot can rock back and forth, twist side to side a little bit there, and has the toe joint on the end. And of course, Harley is a master combatant, acrobat, and deceiver. And then for accessories, the only thing she comes with is javelin. So the spear javelin gave her when he was dying and told her to hang on to it. Of course, she didn't know why. It doesn't really look much like a spear. It's just this all gold stick with like rounded points, and this one's a little bit curved and stuff. So not the best looking spear at all, but we can stick it into her hand. So there's the javelin in her hand. And then of course we have her card with her holding the javelin there. And on the back says Harley Quinn, reincarcerated for road rage in a bank, buys her freedom once more by joining the squad. This colorful, cheeky, cheerful psychotic still has all of her deadly dynamic moves, and the single and ready to mingle rogue is as eager as ever to show them off, much to Amanda Waller's dismay. But Harley, in her signature ladylike style, isn't afraid to manhandle anyone who comes her way. So there's more backstory on Harley. So overall, it's not the best figure. Like I said, I wish they had her more in her outfit from the beginning of the movie compared to this version, but I guess they did it because that's how she does appear mostly in the movie. So not a bad figure overall, just not my preferred version. And finally, we have our final figure of King Shark, also known as Nanawe, and he is a metahuman believed to be the descendant of an ancient shark god, but he is a sweet and endearing dolt with a taste for human meat. And so of course you can see he's a humanoid shark, so he has humanoid like features of arms and legs and stuff, but he is a big giant shark and he's a big dummy guy, so pretty fun overall, but nice looking shark figure. You know, looks very much shark like, has the fin on his head, the shark head, of course the mouth that we can open up to show some teeth. So you can open his mouth, and there he's got some teeth and stuff. He's got fin-like hands, so he's got the 4 fingers with the webs in between them, and then also with the toes, he's got the 3 toes with the webs. So pretty funny overall, and he's got some pants on as well. So pretty funny looking character and figure overall. But for his movements, his head there can twist a little side to side, and you can look down a little bit and up a little bit. Not a whole lot of range in there. Of course, his mouth does move as well, as you saw, so you can close it and open it however much you want. His shoulders come about 90 degrees there and can rotate all the way around. We got the single elbow joint that bends just about 90 degrees and has some rotation in it. We get the wrist that can twist all the way around and flex up and down there, so no ball joint on this one. He has some ab crunches in there, so he has like the upper ab crunch, so crunch back and forth and twist a little side to side, and then right at the waist as well, he can twist side to side and crunch back and forth a little bit more. I'm sure he's got some more movements in his legs, but because of the pants and stuff, we can't really see up in there, but his legs do move just around just a little bit. But the only things we really can't see is his ankles. But his ankles are real stiff, but they can rock back and forth a little bit. They just keep getting stuck, unfortunately, and has some twisting side to side as well. And then he has the toe joint on the end. So he doesn't have the best movements overall, but he's a lot better than the Build-A-Figure Bane we did a while ago. But I think he's pretty cool overall. He's a big chunky guy and pretty big overall. And with that, we can bring in the other characters so you can see the height difference between them all. So there's Bloodsport and Peacemaker, and then we got Polka-Dot Man and Harley Quinn. So the King Shark is definitely a big figure compared to all the others, but a pretty cool looking set overall. I like all the figures. You know, Harley to me is just a letdown, and I wish they would have done better colors for Peacemaker and everything, but that King Shark is pretty cool and definitely the best part of the wave and makes this whole wave worth it. So pretty cool set overall for the Suicide Squad. But let me know what you thought of this wave down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.